It's the Wine Country Saturday Soundtrack Podcast. You know, on Saturdays, we play fun music and we feature great information at 993thevine.com with me, Big Rick Stewart, and music from my time at Live 105 and at KFOG. We also mix in some stories that I find kind of interesting, whether it's local music or food or tech or just kind of some cool things I think you ought to know about. It's always lots of fun. Fun music and great information happens every Saturday at 993thevine.com. And the Wine Country Saturday Soundtrack Podcast features great information like this. Hey, I'm Big Rick Stewart. It's the Wine Country Saturday Soundtrack. Fun music and great information. That's what I do here every Saturday at 99.3 The Vine. Music from my time at Live 105 and KFOG and more. Part of being on the radio is drinking coffee. Lots of coffee. I'm telling you, man. We drink a lot of coffee in the world of radio. Here's how to get stronger, better coffee from those little coffee pods. Actually, there's two ways I'll share with you. The first is you want a bigger cup of coffee, because who doesn't want more coffee when you use those little coffee pods? So you press the button for a mug of coffee instead of a little cup of coffee. Well, what you end up getting is watered down coffee, because it can't add more coffee as far as ground coffee, but it just adds more hot water. I mean, if you like it, that's okay. That's fine. I'm not here to judge. But if you want a stronger big mug, what you do is you choose the smaller cup of coffee and you use one pod and you do it again. And then you get a stronger cup of coffee because, you know, the ratio of coffee and water is better. It's not just watered down. All right, here's another way to improve those K-cups and the other types of coffee pods. You can get reusable coffee holders to go in those. Now, I maybe used these in the past, and I have, and they weren't that good. They kind of leaked and they were messy and they were actually kind of awful. But at places like Amazon, some of them get great reviews. So read the reviews. Find one that works in your machine, and you can use fresh coffee and those little cup holders and just empty them out and reuse those in your coffee pod machine. And don't have watered down coffee pod machine coffee. That's not that good. I'm telling you. Hey, it's the Wine Country Saturday Soundtrack. Maybe I've had too much coffee. Fun music and great information all day today right here at 993thevine.com. I'm Big Rick Stewart. It's the Wine Country Saturday Soundtrack. Fun music and great information. One of my favorite bands, come on, one of your favorite bands, the Foo Fighters. They've been around for a long time, and they still make great music, and I'm so glad that they're going to continue on with their new drummer in the band. This is a great story from their past. This goes back to their 8th album called Sonic Highway in 2014. This is an album where they traveled around the country to various cities, and they kind of recorded in various places, and they made a documentary while they did this, and it was really cool. It was a documentary that followed the band and the recordings, and it really focused on American cities and the music there and all these different things. They visited 8 cities while they did this. How did they pay for all of this? This is a great story. Now, back in the day, I mean, we're talking about like the 80s and 90s, you could talk a record company into paying for this, and they had big budgets and stuff. Okay, these days, not so much. The Foo Fighters, for this project, used credit card airline rewards points. Now, they'd been using their American Express credit card to pay for their travel and hotel rooms, and the crew and everybody, for years. I mean, for years and years and years, ever since they started. So check this out. They had 6 million reward points accumulated on their American Express credit card, and that paid for the travel and hotel rooms for the crew that recorded and filmed their album Sonic Highways as they visited 8 American cities back in 2014. Isn't that cool? Because it's probably like double or triple the cost of just going to a recording studio, right? So check out the album and check out the documentary the Foo Fighters did back in 2014. And when you do, you'll think, that's how they use their 6 million reward points. Very clever. I'm Big Rick Stewart. It's the Wine Country Saturday Soundtrack. Fun music and great information right here at 993thevine.com. Hey, I'm Big Rick Stewart. It's the Wine Country Saturday Soundtrack. Fun music and great information. Can we go back to the 90s? Actually, this would be the late 90s, but it was the 90s. Hasbro has announced that the fluffy and chatty animatronic children's toy will return to shelves next month, known as a Furby. Do you remember Furbies? They actually were pretty cool. And at the time, it was kind of amazing. They would interact with you and you could talk to them, kind of. And they would talk to you, kind of. And they wiggled around and stuff. The toy maker Hasbro has described the new Furbies as being, quote, the next era of cool, cute, and weird. All right. Now, they kind of blow this up a little out of proportion, but they say following its craze-induced launch in 1998, Furby has taken the world by storm, impacting every corner of the cultural zeitgeist from music to television and film. Yeah, I don't know. Well, okay, whatever. This is their PR person. For the brand's 25th anniversary, they wanted to ignite the same excitement for this new generation by harnessing Furby's power of nostalgia while giving Gen Alpha everything they crave. Gen Alpha? I haven't heard that one. All right, so anyway, look for Furbies coming back. Yeah, they're going to have 5 voice-activated modes, more than 800 responses. They have lights and sounds, and they wiggle around. And I don't know, Furbies are kind of fun. What do the originals go for on eBay now? I just wonder, right? I might even check this one out because I was a Furby owner for a time there. I'm Big Rick Stewart. It's the Wine Country Saturday soundtrack. Fun music and great information here at 993thevine.com. I'm Big Rick Stewart. It's the Wine Country Saturday soundtrack. Fun music and great information here at 993thevine.com. I am so happy it's 4th of July. It's one of my favorite holidays. I'm so happy that fireworks are back. Thank you to everybody involved and everybody up the totem pole here at 99.3 The Vine who are involved in the fireworks coming back to Napa and all that good stuff. Pepsi has announced something maybe you want to try or maybe not on your hot dogs. First of all, I'm okay with mustard and ketchup on a hot dog. I got no problem with ketchup on a hot dog. But I kind of like that Chicago thing with some relish and chopped onions and stuff like that. Oh, totally delicious. All right, Pepsi has announced its first infused condiment labeled Cola Chup in honor of 4th of July. So think of ketchup, but with cola at the front of the word. They say this sauce is meant to be the finishing touch on a hot dog. Now, they didn't just come up with this. They actually worked with the Culinary Institute of America, CIA. They have the consulting business that's part of their school, and they came up with this with Pepsi. It starts with a Pepsi reduction. The topping is combined with ingredients including smoked tomatoes, a blend of spices, primarily cinnamon and oregano, plus onions and ketchup. It's kind of like an all-in-one thing. This is all according to CNN Business. Limited edition, this features the sweet, citrusy taste of the carbonated drink, according to a press release. And CIA consulting marketing person, David Kamen, says the distinctive flavors and vibrant citrus blend of Pepsi enhance the bright and tangy characteristics of ketchup, offsetting the smokiness of the hot dog. Okay, you know what I say? Whatever. I'll give it a try if I can find it. This new Pepsi thing, Cola Chup. Weird name. I'm Big Rick Stewart. It's the Wine Country Saturday soundtrack. Fun music and great information at 993thevine.com. Hey, I'm Big Rick Stewart. It's the Wine Country Saturday soundtrack, the home of fun music and great information. Hang out with us all day or as often as you can, or, drop in for a while and then, check in with us later on. All day today, some fun music and great information like how to make sure you don't run out of propane for your July 4th barbecue or July 1st or 2nd or 3rd or anytime. Whether it's your barbecue or the outdoor fire pit or the heater or whatever, if it's hooked up to a propane tank, here's how to find the level in your tank. Well, first you should always have a backup, of course, but hey, sometimes you don't have a backup or maybe you haven't refilled the backup. I'm totally guilty of that. All right, to check the level of gas in your propane tank, bring a cup of water to a boil and pour it on the top and let it run down the side. Now, all you have to do, this is scientific, but don't ask me to explain the science. Feel the tank and look for the point where the tank goes from feeling hot, which is empty from the water, to cool, which is the level where you have your propane. And right where that temperature change is, that's how full your tank is. That's pretty easy, right? You can do that super simple. Don't have to buy gauges or any of that stuff. Now, if you buy a brand new propane tank or you get it refilled, don't be upset if you check it and it's not all the way to the top, because for safety reasons, they don't fill them all the way to the very, very top. but this is a good way to check your propane tank level and don't run out. Nobody wants raw hamburgers. Ew, no way. All right, have a great 4th of July weekend, and if it started today, then that's awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm Big Rick Stewart. It's the Wine Country Saturday soundtrack at 993thevine.com. I'm Big Rick Stewart. It's the Wine Country Saturday soundtrack. Fun music and great information happens here every Saturday at 993thevine.com. How can you tell when somebody from California has never driven a car to Oregon, right? Here's how. When they pull up to a gas station and they get out and they start trying to pump their gas, because you know what? You're not allowed to do that. No, you're not. Well, there's certain very few exclusions, but basically, no, you can't do that. Someone has to come out who's making whatever their salary is, and they pump the gas for you, and then you're on your way. Now, in a way, that's kind of cool, but in another way, you kind of have to wait for someone to do that, and if it's really busy, all right, well, listen, all this is changing. Oregon allows self-serve gas pumps in 2023. Oregon lawmakers recently voted to end a prohibition on self-serve gas that's been in place since 1951. All right, they're just waiting for the governor to sign it. I don't know, I haven't checked, but maybe the governor already signed this. So yeah, before they didn't have any of this. You had to wait for someone to come out. But now you can, in case you're wondering. Stations are prohibited from charging different prices at self-serve and attended pumps. So this is going to happen pretty soon if it hasn't happened already. Drivers have always wanted this because they don't have to wait around and they can just get out, pump my gas, and be on my way. Especially those Californians who are always in a hurry to go somewhere. So next time you go to Oregon, there won't be that uncomfortable thing of you going, oh, what? I didn't know that. Because now you can pump your own gas in Oregon. I'm Big Rick Stewart. Isn't that good news? It's the Wine Country Saturday soundtrack. Fun music and great information here at 993thevine.com. Well, those are some stories that I have featured on the Wine Country Saturday soundtrack. Tune in at 8 a.m. every Saturday at 993thevine.com. I'm Big Rick Stewart here. Music from my days at Live 105 and KFOG, some current songs, lots of surprises and more. It's always lots of fun. We have a 10 at 10, a Beatles brunch at noon. It happens all day. The Wine Country Saturday soundtrack and the Wine Country Saturday soundtrack podcast. Tell your friends, and thanks for listening to this podcast, and thanks for checking out 993thevine.com.